Hello guys, Footballer DT here again to give you a preview feature on Assassin's Creed 3. Now, without wanting to make a cheap pun on Connor's Native American ancestry, we have had our reservations about the game. Not that we're expecting bad things from it, it's more that our disappointment with last year's Assassin's Creed Revelations caused us to temper our expectations and remain a little more cautious about this new assassin and his 18th century American Revolution playground. But then we see Connor scampering across the treetops of a snow-covered wilderness with the same effortless ease as Ezio gliding across European rooftops before dropping back down in pursuit of a fleeing eyewitness, scampering up the angled trunk of a fallen tree and leaping 20 feet into the air to crunch his tomahawk into the soldier's terrified skull. And suddenly we're once again teasing ourselves with the belief that this time Ubisoft Montreal will finally nail the magic formula and give us the best mind-travelling adventure since Assassin's Creed 2. Certainly the new setting is as intriguing as its predecessors. While the likes of Florence, Rome and Constantinople may have stood out for their beauty, this switch to North America is more about what's happening within the bustling city streets of New York and Boston and the wide open terrains. The concepts may remain much the same, but by shifting to a more familiar location and a familiar story, Assassin's Creed 3 has a very different tone and feel to it. The American Revolution kicked off in 1775 when 13 colonies gathered forces to oppose British governance, and while this third game has a storyline that spans some 30 years, it will act as the main backdrop to action. And you play as Connor Kenway, the first master assassin in America, and the son of a Native American mother and a British father. Although so far we've mostly seen him fighting the British Redcoat soldiers, his motives are geared more towards the freedom of his people, as he's from the Mohawk Valley, and the ongoing battle between the Assassin's Order and the Templars. The Brits are just getting in the way. Now, whatever his mission parameters may be, seeing the game in action, it's obvious that the core Assassin's Creed gameplay remains, albeit tweaked and remodeled to suit the era. The ever-slick navigation remains crucial to the fluidity of the action, and our latest Eyes On saw Connor bounding through the streets of Boston with a familiar flair, leaping from poles, clambering up walls, and even scaling trees with all the grace of a seasoned gymnast at play. He can also now pick up items on the run, so you won't have to slow down to grab a musket should you fancy plunging the bayonet into an onrushing foe, and then shooting the guy behind through his corpse. He has a few new animations and moves, such as being able to scramble up sloped surfaces, or using overhead monkey bars to swing through interiors. He'll also be able to jump through windows and use rooms as shortcuts to flee from pursuers, and you can expect plenty of nice touches, such as grabbing a rope on a dumb waiter to propel up to the roof of a building. True, there's nothing drastically new here, but it's an intelligently refined upgrade on previous titles. Now, we've mentioned the trees, and Connor takes to them with ease, using branches like the conveniently placed poles and platforms of old. Their convenience is practical too, as Assassin's Creed 3 offers seasonal weather, with winter snow contrasting the sunny summer months. And the snow isn't just an aesthetic tool, it affects Connor's mobility, turning a walk into a slow drudge, which differs depending on the depth of the snow, while also offering the chance to grab a speedy slide downhill. But when you need to move quickly, you'll want to get up high and use the trees. As with navigation, so the combat is more a list of tweaks and refinements than a drastic change of style. Dual wielding is key to the action this time, with Connor free to mix up the likes of paired pistols, a tomahawk, a bow and arrow, and his hidden blade. There are obvious distinctions in terms of long and short range, as well as loud and stealthy weaponry, but the ability to move fast and flow into some slick combos remains. Watching Connor tackle well-ordered clusters of redcoats in the streets of Boston show the same counter-based combat, but in the right hands he can pull off some sweet kills. Enemies may still patiently wait their turn to attack, but you will see more than one attack at a time, opening up double counter moves and a more aggressive threat. There are also new enemies requiring differing strategies, and with more firepower around, you won't just have to wait for enemies to amble into your blade. There are plenty of cool ways to take people out though, with the same cinematic flair, showcasing the action. You can even use the now moving hay carts to pull street walking guards into their deaths, in what must be one of the world's first drive-by killings. And as the locals tend to be on your side, calling you away on side missions if you so desire, there should be plenty of chances to get bloody amid all the exploration. But, of course, half the trick of Assassin's Creed titles is in avoiding combat and truly mastering your environment in order to either evade or silently take down whoever's in your way. Connor can stalk through tall vegetation and other cover points using stalking zones, and he has lots of other distraction and infiltration techniques to play with. In one example, he is perched up a tree and uses his new rope darts to hook a guard below before dropping down to snare and effectively hang the threat. As he starts skulking away, a second guard leaves his post to examine the swinging corpse, leaving Connor a clear path to free a prisoner in stocks. A little while later, he picks off a lone sentry in the impressive Boston Harbor setting using his bow and arrow, drawing a group of soldiers away from the entrance to a ship that Connor needs to board. Once again, the crowds will play a part and offer hotspots to hide in, with improved AI giving the city streets a far more vibrant feel. NPCs will roam around with a purpose and react to the unfolding events in a more natural and believable manner. You can still merge with groups of people to avoid detection, and now you can either edge into smaller packs of 2 or 3 people, mimicking their actions to blend in and shake off your pursuers, who are still dumb enough not to recognize the signature white hooded outfit, but to question their logic would make our Connor a very easy target. You can once again call in some AI support, Brotherhood style, with a recent example showing 4 of your comrades decked out in redcoat disguises to shepherd you through a British checkpoint. Of course, choosing the most effective option is always easier when you know how, but there would usually be multiple paths and several different ways you can access a location, and a lot of the appeal in Assassin's Creed 3 will be in settling into your own style of play. Now, the final